Story 1. We were as close as any two sisters growing up. My mom and her dad met when we were 8 and 6, and we got along really well from the get-go. My ex-BF and I broke up 2 years ago. He cheated on me, and I found out about it a week after he proposed to me. 5 to 6 months later, SS told me that she and ex-BF have started dating. I couldn't believe my ears. I was very angry at her, but the rest of the family, mom, stepdad, 2 half-sisters, didn't think it was a betrayal at all, and my mom once yelled at me to grow up and move on. I gradually distanced myself from my stepsister, without making a fuss. I just poured myself into my studies instead and hid behind the "I'm swamped" excuse. I started dating my current boyfriend CB 25 meters about 10 months ago. The only problem is that SS used to have a huge crush on him, and she still, to this day, texts and DM him. They never dated. I haven't told anyone in my family that I'm seeing someone. SS and ex-BF got engaged, and they sent the wedding invitations last month, wedding in June. I didn't RSVP because I don't want to attend. Last week my mom asked me to visit. When I got there, mom was waiting with SS, her BFF, and Mo, my half-sisters and ex-sister. It was an intervention. My mom started by saying that I needed to stop alienating myself from everybody and get over the hurt. SS is getting married and she wanted me as a bridesmaid. I told them no. SS started crying saying I'm ruining her wedding. She asked if it has to do with me not having a +1 because she could pair me with one of ex-BF's single best men, and I wouldn't feel lonely then. I got really angry and told her I didn't want to go to her wedding because I don't like her. She started crying again, calling me bitter and a hag for purposefully wanting to hurt her on her big day. I left. My mom called me later saying if I didn't show up at least as a guest, I'd cut off the whole family. You see, they need me there so people see there's no hard feelings between us, and that I have blessed their marriage because she has been getting a whole lot of sh/T from the family for what she did to me. I'm so angry now. What's between SS and I is broken beyond repair. Why is it so hard for them to understand? Plus, I do have a +1 should I decide to turn up, and SS would regret the day she invited me then. I have half a mind to do it and ruin her day. I love my mom and my sisters, but I'm tired of them choosing Eastside. And I know mom is serious that she would cut me off if I didn't attend. She loves my stepdad very much, and upsetting SS means upsetting him. Any advice on how to tackle this? Because however I turned it, I am the loser. Update hi again. I couldn't find my op because I used the throwaway account. But I could find the deleted post, and I copied it to this account if you want to read it before the update. Here it is. AS equals stepsister, CBF equals current boyfriend, XP equals ex-boyfriend. Before I update, I want to thank you very, very, very much. When I wrote here, I was so hurt and consumed with anger that I was planning a very cheap revenge on my SS. But since then, and with the amazing advice I got from you, I realized that pettiness isn't the answer. I thought back and came to the conclusion that the only hurt I was feeling was because of my mom. Since my ex-BF cheated, I have felt that my mom let me down by not supporting me. I don't care about SS or XP. I'm very happy with my life now and I love CB. I've decided to try one last time to fix things with mom and explain to her how hurt I have been by her treatment. I also decided to tell her the truth. On Friday I visited mom. She was alone at the house. I started by telling her that I was hurt about the intervention because I didn't think I needed one. That I was hurt that she always took SS's side to please my stepdad, and that I have many reasons for not attending SS's wedding. While I don't feel hurt anymore about her SS betrayal, our relationship has changed, and I don't see her as my sister anymore. I don't feel obligated either to try and repair her reputation by going to her wedding. She made a very controversial life choice, and even if I'm not hurt by it anymore, she must have known people will be giving her a hard time, and that I honestly don't understand why she cared. And lastly, I told her about CBF. I told her that SS probably still has feelings for him, and it wouldn't be nice for us to go to her wedding and ruin her day. I told her I wasn't ready to make our relationship official yet, and that if SS knew he would be my +1, she would change her mind about inviting me. I saw that my mom was getting more and more upset the more I talked. When it came to the subject of CBF, she was shaking with suppressed rage. After I finished, she told me she was right in thinking that I'm a vindictive hag, that she's ashamed of me, and that my bitterness is the reason I will end up alone. She told me I was pathetic for hooking up with SS's old love, and she forbade me from telling anyone about him. And you should break up with him if you know what's good for you. She threatened to tell CBF that I'm using him to get back at SS, and then she kicked me out of her house. Yesterday, when I was in the kitchen, I heard the doorbell. CBS opened, and it was SS with XP. When she saw CBS, she asked, "What are you doing here?" I came out of the kitchen, and she was terrified and her eyes full with tears. Her plan was to sit and talk, me, her, and XBF to sort things out. But when she understood what's going on, she started crying. She called me names, cursed me, and threw the shoehorn I have in the entrance at me. She kept yelling, "How could you do this to me?" CBF asked them to leave and blocked her from getting at me. She left in tears, XBF confused after her. Mom sent me a long email today telling me that she was disgusted by my actions. She thought I planned for SS to find out about CBF and me. She forbade me from ever contacting her or my sisters and told me that if I don't end things with CBF immediately, she will make breaking us up her priority. I showed CBF the email. He is very distraught. He asked me if I would consider moving to another city with him when I finish school and we move in together. We'll see what happens, but I like his suggestion. It was the first time he talked about moving in together. I would have been over the moon if I wasn't so heartbroken. Story 2. My 4 siblings didn't invite me to their wedding. Now I am not inviting any of my siblings to my wedding, including my mother. So I am 23 female, getting married in a few months, and I have a few significantly older siblings, 34 female, 36 male, 38 male, 38 male. All of them are now married, and since I was a teen when they got married and they had a child-free wedding, I was not invited to any of their weddings. My oldest sibling first had a child-free wedding, and then the others decided to follow. When my oldest brother got married, I was 10, so sure, I was kind of getting not inviting me. But I was still extremely upset. My oldest brother got married to a woman I really love, and I can't even witness it. The other brother got married when I was 12, so again I'm not inviting a 12-year-old. But I was a very well-behaved child and again his sibling. My sister got married when I was 15. At first she didn't want a child-free wedding, but all of the family members convinced her because gets so refreshing to be in a wedding where children don't bring havoc, so she decided for a cutoff to be 16. And when I asked, "Can I be a one exception since I'm 15 and your sister?" she said no with a very serious tone. "If we make an exception for you, what about other children?" It's not fair. I got upset and screamed that what is not fair is not participating in any of my siblings' weddings. My parents got upset with me and grounded me. And lastly, my brother got married when I was 17. At that point I didn't care. I knew there was going to be a child-free wedding, and that once again I'm not invited. I didn't ask, begging. My step-cousin who just turned 18 just made the cut, and I didn't. Well, as I said, I didn't care. Sent a quick congrats and that's it. My parents got furious on why I didn't even congratulate them. I just ignored them and spent all the time in my room with my now soon-to-be husband. Since I'm getting married, I decided none of them are going to be there, since I wasn't allowed to be there either. When they didn't get the invitations, they all came to my house and demanded to know why they didn't get one. I simply explained, "You didn't want me in your wedding, I don't want you in my." I explained how hurt I was that I was not able to see any of my siblings get married, and they should experience the same. They said that the weddings had alcohol, so they didn't want any young impressionable kids there. And I said all I wanted was to be included in the wedding part. I didn't care about the after party. Mom then started screaming again about how unfair I am and how she wants all of her kids to be together on that beautiful day. Ironic. But I am not backing down. I firmly believe in not inviting them. Update. 10 days later. We talked the day after I made the post. I said that the only way I'm going to invite them is if they explain absolutely everything. Otherwise, no invitation. After some weird looks and silence, the truth came out. I am their cousin. My father's brother was raising me alone and died, so I was raised by my uncle. They do not know who my mother is. I was young, required a lot of attention, wasn't their sibling, so they kind of distanced themselves from me. My brother said that even hated me sometimes. My parents sat there ashamed for never telling me. My cousin just looked awkward. I just left. We eloped. So after all the drama, we talked and realized we were doing the whole wedding thing because we thought the other wanted it. We were not against the idea of a flashy wedding, but a calm day with just the closest people was closest to our hearts. So we did that, just us and some of our friends. We are keeping the money for our dream country to visit. My parents had the audacity to get angry that there was no celebration, but I don't care, to be honest. It was a day for us. That's it. I hope the update was not disappointing. Special thanks to everyone who wrote me messages telling us that we were too immature to get married.